The story goes that Taco Bell decided to expand to Mexico. And they decided to use an innovative campaign in advertising their food as American food in Mexico. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. After being in Guadalajara, Mexico for 2.5 weeks, I can report to you that I did not see a Taco Bell or a Taco John's or a Chipotle in Guadalajara. I'm not sure if that's stating that their ad campaign failed. There were a number of areas in Guadalajara that made me think of home. I want to talk about a couple of those to you today and draw a conclusion at the end of it. Because there were areas where it felt like I was still here in Rochester. One of the first places was electronic access, which is kind of surprising to me that we would have that kind of access down there as good as we saw. It was interesting, the documents they gave us before leaving said your hotels should be fine for water. All the hotels should have filtered water. And thought, okay, that's good, but you should always be a little suspect about their wireless service in the hotel. Checked into the hotel, opened in 2011. In the bathroom is a printed sign in Spanish and in English that states that the water in the bathroom is not potable. So that document was wrong. But everybody trusted the wireless in the hotel, and I used it, and the people in my team used it, which was interesting, because in America you say you tend to trust the water and you tend to distrust the wireless. But in Mexico you tend to trust the wireless and distrust the water. But the connection speeds were fine, and everything, I could access everything at work or at home just like being there. The only thing I missed at work was having a phone on my desk and a bathroom within the building. Because the bathroom was literally 2 buildings away. But the other interesting part to me was on our second weekend in Guadalajara, one of the engineers took us up to the mountains. And about halfway up the mountain, my cell phone beeped. And I'm thinking, well, this is interesting. Who's trying to get hold of me? So I look at the text message. And it says, welcome abroad. To dial back to the United States, dial 1 plus the 10-digit number. International rates apply. Free text message from AT&T. And here we are halfway up this mountain. We've seen a couple of homes, maybe a couple of homes clustered into a village, but nothing like a city or a town that would require cell phone coverage. And yet, it was as good as I was expecting. But we were literally, I thought, in the middle of nowhere going up to the top of this mountain. Guadalajara sits between 2 mountain ranges, so it tends to be the low part and mountains around it. So it's not that difficult. It was about probably 90 minutes to get to the top of this mountain. So it wasn't like it was a long trip. But I still had AT&T coverage even though I turned off data roaming while I was in Mexico. So access was good, and it was surprising how good the language worked. I had a year of Spanish. It didn't help me very much. But the team we hired in Mexico has very good English, and even being out and about in public, we were able to work through some of the language problems. Our second weekend, we went to a market artistic town called Tonala, and we were starting to talk to one of the shop owners about a piece of artwork, and we were having trouble getting the numbers out, so she got her calculator out and typed the numbers into the calculator so I could say, okay, 55 pesos, that's about $5, so I understand where we're going with this now. So even though we couldn't get the words out, the numbers worked just fine. Found out not all words translate ideally between Spanish and English. Bimbo is one of their large bakeries, similar to what Wonder would have been or Dolly Madison in our culture. And they are a sponsor of one of the professional soccer teams down there. Billboards all over the place. Coming back from lunch one day, Manuel, one of the engineers, asked me, well, what does bimbo mean? So I started stumbling through the definition. And I think I made my point clear. And Manuel then asked me, or told me, well, my English teacher said I should never use that word in America. So that was, but there's still not everything that comes across ideally between English and Spanish, at least the way it's spoken in Mexico. And the third part that really struck me in the trip was culture. And this happened the last night in Mexico. The team said I had to go to a cantina. Cantina had two definitions. Either it's a bar that's open to the street, no doors, it's open and they just pull a gate down at the end of the day to close it. Or it's a place where you go to drink. You're not going there for food, you're not going there for a lot of food, you're going there to drink. So we ended up going here, and this bicycle was standing up top, protected by its wall of bottled alcohol. And this cantina had a small organ. And later on in the evening, a gentleman came and started playing on the organ. At one point, he started playing a song that almost the whole bar or cantina knew what it meant. And they all sang along. It was like group karaoke in some regards. It was part of a songbook, I guess, that Mexico has, where everybody knows these words. It'd be something, I guess, like knowing America the Beautiful, or she's coming around the mountain when she comes. But they all sang it, all got into it, and all started singing. And it was quite interesting to hear the music bouncing off the walls of this cantina. After a while, one of the guys I was with from America said, "Hey, let's request Feliz Navidad. At least I know the words to Feliz Navidad." The team in Guadalajara said, "No, we are not requesting Feliz Navidad." It says, "Come on, I know the words." And they said, "No, wrong season. We are not requesting Feliz Navidad." As the night went on, the songbook started to change a little bit. Saul, who's one of the guys I'm personally training, plays guitar in a band in Guadalajara. And at one point, he kind of said, "Hey, do you recognize the music?" And I said, "Maybe." And then he said, "Oh, it's Piano Man by Billy Joel. Sing us a song, You're the Piano Man." And I thought, well, this is the guy here doing this. He's sitting right here playing that song. And I thought, well, this is interesting, hearing this song in this context at this distance. Later on, he played the Beatles song, Michelle. And then later on, before we left, he started playing House of the Rising Sun by the Animals. And I was thinking, I'm 2 airline flights away from the United States, and I'm hearing this music that is seemingly crossing cultures these days, and hearing that. And I thought, this is really interesting. Of course, none of us, we tried to sing Piano Man. We didn't get a very good job of that done, and we definitely didn't do the Michelle very well, and we definitely didn't do House of the Rising Sun well. But the songbook changed as the night went on and heard a little more of our, at least what we would consider American English pop or rock, which is really interesting at that point. In the 1980s, the Talking Heads wrote a song that said, "Home, it's where I want to be, but I must be already there." And there were places in Guadalajara where I felt like I could still feel like access home, see home. Definitely saw McDonald's, Burger King, Little Caesars, Dairy Queen there, even Sam's and Costco. The best memories for me of this trip are getting away from all that, getting unconnected, getting away from what I've considered the safe stuff, and doing things like this, going to a cantina. And that's where the best memories of this trip were made for me. And when you have a chance to do this, to get out into a different culture, I recommend that you get out and make those memories, because that's where the best memories are found. Madam Toastmaster.